So for the first time in my eToro career, I think I may go long Bitcoin right here. Oh, none of this should be considered financial advice. All these are just my opinions, and it should be used for entertainment purposes only, educational purposes only. So what's up, dudes to dads and everybody in between? Welcome to my channel, where my goal is to help 1,000 people manage $10,000. So right now I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart, and this is not clickbait. I actually might go long Bitcoin, and the reason for that is I'm looking at these. These are the long short positions of Bitcoin. So the source code is from Bitfinex. Longs versus shorts. Okay, so I'm okay with the code, and I'm quite confident it reflects what the market is doing. And this is like, basically if it's more than 50% more people are short Bitcoin than long Bitcoin. And it's very expensive to short Bitcoin. So the last time we were above that mark, this 50% mark was here, and price didn't really do anything. Okay, so I may go long Bitcoin if we reach these kind of levels, 0.6 kind of levels, or 0.7, that would be ideal. Reason for that is I believe that the Bitcoins, the number of Bitcoins in circulation and being held by the top, whatever, 33 to 5 people is actually a lot more than people think. What I think is mostly traded tends to be 3 to 5% of the total Bitcoins in population. So when you have this asymmetry of power, people who tend to lose out are the smaller people. Again, I may be wrong on this, so I'm going to take a small position. If this exceeds 0.75, if too many people are short Bitcoin. And also, I feel that we have really been through a bubble in Bitcoin. Okay, we've already had this denial, we had a return to normal, but we haven't had these. Okay, fear, capitulation, despair, all this have not really happened yet. So I do expect it to happen, because when my metric of measuring whether the bubble is over is I go on the secondhand stores and see how many mining rigs are available for sale every day. I do this research religiously. Every day I go on to see how many mining rigs are going up for sale. So right now I don't see that many. There have been some, and it's slowly beginning to unwind, but I don't see that fear yet. I just see a bunch of people are kind of like, you know what, it's not worth it anymore, I'm just gonna... So it's somewhere around this area, none of these yet. So I think it might hit lower, but at the same time, because of this positioning, I may go long. So that's my view on that. I am bullish on XRP, so for those of you who do know, who've been following my channel, I have been long XRP. I bought it at 20 cents, I sold out somewhere around $2 or something like that. Okay, so I am long XRP, but I have not get the technical confirmation yet. So this is my DeMark indicator. I'm not yet at the 13th candle. Once I'm at the 13th candle, I might go long. Yeah, and there's not really much support or resistance to speak of for XRP, because this from 22 cents all the way up to 50, there isn't any support in between. So if I buy a position, I'm looking at my stop loss only around below 20 cents, which is a little bit scary, to be honest. So we'll cross that bridge when it comes, but right now I'm waiting for the DeMark to give me a confirmation on the 13th candle. Okay, so other than that, my two positions that I'm long right now are the Euro-Aussie and the Chinese stock market, so Chinese A50. Okay, I'm gonna start the China A50. So my belief is that we have formed a very strong support level here, and I don't think we're gonna break below it. Okay, when this broke out here to this levels here, I thought this was a significant break that the Chinese stock market is gonna hit much higher. Of course, we had this, which completely disregarded this level, and just broke right through to this level. Okay, so now we're back at these levels, and the question is what's going to happen now. So I don't think what has happened with the trade wars with Donald Trump and all that, I don't think it's enough to send the stock market crashing. Even for the SPX, I don't believe this is enough to send the stock market all the way down. So when in my study of crises, whether it's 1908, 1933, 1987, 2000, 2008, that kind of thing, there has always been a catalyst that drives everything lower. And I don't think we've seen that catalyst yet. I may be wrong, but I don't think we've seen this catalyst yet. People are making a very big deal out of these recent trade war allegations by Donald Trump. But I think you need to remember that in September last year, we had a whole talk about nuclear war with North Korea, and it hardly moved the needle. So when you're talking about trade wars here, I don't think it's enough to send this down. I think what may happen is you will have a slow devaluation of the US dollar, which we have already seen, but not a capitulation of the stock market. The stock market is overvalued, don't get me wrong. It's just that in most crises you have a fundamental shift in the paradigm that causes this crash, and I don't think we've seen that yet. So what could send this way higher is the repatriation, which I think might happen. So all the money flowing back into the US stock market or flowing back into US will cause this to go up because dividend yield suddenly spiked. And then what I suspect will happen is you have a shortage of US dollars in the total dollar funding market. So then this will hit streaking back higher. That's my assumption right now, and I'm waiting for this repatriation, which may or may not happen. But if it does, I think we're headed much higher. So this tends to follow what the Chinese stock market is doing. So Chinese stock market should benefit from that and also head higher. In terms of fundamentals, you look at One Belt, One Road, there is a lot of spending that's going into this, which will benefit the state-owned enterprises, which is part of the China A50. So I'm generally quite bullish on the Chinese stock market. I'm down slightly. I'm down about, let's see, 298, 205. So I think I went in, I went around here, and now I'm slightly down, so it's fine. My stop loss is around here, so past this line of support, and we'll see what happens after that. Okay, second one I am long is, short. Other position is this. Okay, so this is the Euro Australian dollar market. So for the euro, my suspicion is that this Italian elections is going to cause more trouble than people expect, and it has for the most part. So if I'm following the news, I think what may happen is we go into another election, which would not be a good case, but it'll definitely cause the euro to fall or correct somewhat. The Aussie dollar has me a bit worried though, because if I look at the news that came out from last week, okay, sorry about this part, I was recording just now and I realized that there was no sound, so I had to restart my computer. I lost all my tabs which were open. Okay, so let's select none. Australia, filter results. Okay, so this has me worried, the building permits. Retail sales tends to be a bit lagging to the economy, so I'm fine with this number, even though it's good. The main data point for me was this trade balance, which was positive, so it's kind of what I expected and it's good. But this building permits once again has me worried. It is low, and it is much lower than expected. So year on year, minus 3.1 versus 0.3 expected. This is much lower. So it has me a bit worried because the Australian market is very dependent on housing. And we know that there's a bubble there, but I believe they have more interest rates to cut, so there is a possibility of the bubble to keep going. It's possible, but if you're like someone who watches Steve Keen like I do, you know there is trouble that's gonna happen. So in terms of that indicator, I'm watching these levels for the Aussie US dollar, and the reason for that is I can measure how strong the dollar is by the DXY, and I can look at the Aussie US and make a calculated can kind of guess where the level should be. For the Euro Aussie, the EXY isn't very good, because if you look at the EXY, it tracks the Euro dollar almost perfectly, so there's really no sense in using that. So I prefer the DXY. And so I'm going to look at the Aussie US dollar and see how we go from here. So it has me a little bit worried. I'm going to exit one position at when these two positions reach break even. I did add a position which is slightly over break even right now. When these two positions collectively reach break even, I'm gonna exit one. Okay, but my targets right now, so since my thesis is still in check, I'm worried, but it's still in check. I'm looking at these kind of levels, maybe between the 38.3, so here, the 8.2 and the 50. So between these two levels, this is my target. So unfortunately, we've gone a little beyond, and I lost out a bit here, but I think that's fine because I don't try and play the market timing game. It's a bit too hard to play. So I'm hoping for something good here. Okay, so what am I looking at next? Okay, we talked about China. We kind of talked about XRP already. So yeah, I'm waiting for the DeMark and then I'll get in. For UniCredit, really nothing has changed. It's still in this incredible bouncing pattern between these levels. So I did say I wanted to put an order here, but obviously it didn't ever reach there, so I think that's fine. So we're just in this ranging section here. I think until I have any clarification on the Italian elections, I think this will stay in the range. So if it's positive, it'll probably break out. If it's negative, it'll probably break down. So we'll probably wait for that to see how we're going to play this then, because I don't really have much conviction on going on this now. Even though I have my thesis and all that, the conviction level for this is not as high as it used to be. Okay, next one is the dollar Swiss, which is the last one. So this is a play on the US dollar strength. So like I told you just now, I believe what will happen is the repatriation and there'll be suddenly a dollar funding shortage. I believe this is heading back to 1. But I will probably play this now using the using the US dollar CAD, because there's not much by way of technical entry here. The Aussie CAD kind of reversed already, and we have a very strong head and shoulders formation here. So, well, it's not that strong, but you know, you can kind of see the head and shoulders formation here. So if we do a reversal, I'm kind of expecting it to move the same amount from the neckline, so maybe from here. So if we reach 125 again, then that's a positive entry for me. It could happen, it might not, it may just be a recovery off this line and then we hit higher. So this 50, yep, 50% line, and then we hit higher. But again, if I expect those things to happen, I have to see repatriation come in and then I'll go long. I will probably use the US dollar CAD because I'm not a fan of the Canadian fundamentals because of the housing structure. Okay, so that's all I have for this. Yeah, hope you have a great trading week. So I hope you liked that video. Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, or watch a video recommended by YouTube here, or watch one of my videos here. Thanks.